Remember this guy? A few years ago, he skyrocketed to TikTok fame with his cringe-worthy point-of-view videos that left people scratching their heads or hitting the block button. At first glance, he might seem like just another run-of-the-mill TikTok creator whose content makes you cringe so hard your soul briefly leaves your body. But don't let his awkward antics and over-the-top performances fool you. This guy is far from harmless. Beneath the surface of those awkward skits and forced smiles lies a much darker and more sinister reality. He's not just another creator vying for views with questionable content. He's been exposed multiple times as a serial TikTok predator. Yes, you heard that right. This guy has a history of sending shocking, inappropriate, and downright disgusting messages to minors. And the worst part, he seems to keep getting away with it, despite the countless receipts and callouts from the online community. This isn't just a case of someone being problematic or making mistakes. We're talking about behavior that's downright predatory. Stuff so gross, you might wish you could unhear it. So buckle up, because today we're diving into the horrifying truth behind this so-called creator and the long trail of damage he's left in his wake. If you don't know about this guy, or have been fortunate enough to have never come across his cringe-oozing POV TikToks, then you're in for a hell of a ride. Because trust us, nobody deliberately wants to see this. In today's video, we're going to talk about this creature called Dylan Zippy, also known as the Chin. He used to be a nobody till 2021. That's when he started posting on TikTok and everything blew up. Today we're going to cover his story in detail, including his rise to fame, his disgusting TikTok POVs, and his repeated predatory actions. Let's kick things off with a little introduction to the chin-stroking, eyebrow-raising TikTok sensation who once ruled the For You page. If you're blissfully unaware of who this guy is, a quick Google search will paint a picture of a famous TikTok creator celebrated for his lip-syncing skills and dramatic POV videos. You know the type. The ones with brooding stares, slow head turns, and just the right amount of cringe to keep you secondhand embarrassed for hours. But here's the thing, what you won't find easily is the real story behind this so-called internet star. The Google results won't show you his scandalous messages to minors, the mountains of receipts exposing his predatory behavior, or the painfully tone-deaf apology videos he churned out like clockwork every time he got called out. No, the internet seems to have only the sanitized version of him. Even more frustrating, you won't be able to find many of his old POV videos, the ones that ranged from awkwardly uncomfortable to outright creepy. Why? Because he's tried his best to erase all traces of them, along with his entire TikTok account. Yup, he hit the big red delete button, hoping that wiping his digital slate clean would make everyone forget his long history of problematic and outright disturbing behavior. Spoiler alert, the internet never forgets, and neither do we. This isn't just a case of a creator trying to move past an embarrassing phase. This is someone who's actively trying to sweep their predatory actions under the rug, hiding the trail of harm they've left behind as if a few clicks of delete will erase the damage done. But don't worry, we've got the receipts, the context, and the cringe to unpack it all. So let's begin. According to famous birthdays, Dylan was born in the United States on April 23, 2003, which means that he's currently 21 years old. Also, according to this page, Dylan didn't start his TikTok career until the summer of 2020 when he couldn't be more than 16 or 17 years old. His About section reads, relatable TikTok personality and content creator known for sharing lip-sync performances and point-of-view style skits on his Zippe account. He has more than 410,000 followers on the platform. However, the truth is far from this. Dylan was not even close to what we would call a relatable TikTok personality, unless you consider yourself a creepy internet predator.
I'm a gangster's wife, to believe but killer. Daddy, let me know that I'm the only girl, the only man that I need at the gangster world.
Dylan burst onto the TikTok scene in 2020 under the name Zippy, creating an account that would soon gain traction for all the wrong reasons. Fast forward to today, and that account has mysteriously disappeared, vanished into the void of deleted profiles. But here's the thing, the internet is forever, and we dug deep enough to unearth a treasure trove of cringe-worthy content from his now defunct TikTok. And trust us, once you get a glimpse of it, you'll understand why Dylan's content wasn't just your run-of-the-mill teenage awkwardness. No, Dylan wasn't your average TikTok creator awkwardly finding his footing in the digital spotlight. His imagination was not only cringe-worthy, but also deeply unsettling, enough to make anyone watching do a double take and wonder, is this guy okay? The scenarios he crafted in his POV videos were more than just uncomfortable. They were walking, talking red flags that somehow flew under the radar at the time. And then there was his bizarre obsession with fist kisses. Yes, you heard that right. For reasons best left to a team of psychologists, Dylan was fixated on this odd and unsettling theme in his videos, weaving it into his content like it was some sort of signature move. But it wasn't just quirky or unique, it was downright disturbing.
I dare you to kiss the prettiest girl in the room on the lips. Oh, that's fucked up.
What's truly shocking is how this all went unnoticed for so long. His videos weren't just harmless teenage daydreams turned into POV skits. They carried a creepy undercurrent that, in hindsight, was a clear warning sign of things to come. It's almost as if his TikToks were a giant flashing neon sign screaming, "Something's not right here." But instead of raising alarms, it flew under the radar, buried beneath the sea of TikTok trends and viral challenges. Dylan's TikTok wasn't just cringe, it was an unsettling glimpse into the kind of person he truly was. And while he might have tried to erase his digital footprint, the internet's memory is sharp, and those red flags are now clearer than ever. Not only this, but all of his TikTok videos were unbearably and painfully cringe. Here's a disclaimer. If you're watching this on your phone, you might want to hold on to it a little more tightly, because what we're about to show you might just want to make you hurl it across the room.
He's waiting.
He's not my boyfriend. I hate him.
Whatever.
Dean,
What?
stop.
Why?
Because I love you, you idiot.
Well, this is enough to give you an idea of what kind of content he used to make. And for whatever reason, it made him famous. Mainly because he was so troll-worthy with his weird, distorted perception of reality of himself. There's no denying that something about this guy feels off. Sure, he might think of himself as TikTok's ultimate heartthrob, but you can't shake the uneasy feeling that comes with watching his videos. From the exaggerated way he carries himself, as if he's starring in a one-man rom-com, to those painfully over-the-top, supposed-to-be seductive expressions, everything about him screams creepy rather than charismatic. But if you think the cringe stops there, think again. Dylan has an ego the size of the internet, and he's not shy about showing it off. In fact, he seems to genuinely believe he's the greatest gift to humanity since the invention of the selfie. His TikTok videos weren't just awkward attempts at going viral, they were self-worship sessions. The way he strutted around in his videos, smirking at the cameras as if millions of girls were fainting over their phones, was as delusional as it was unsettling. And let's talk about that chin-stroking habit.
Just when I think I'm getting better, I'm just getting by. So why do I still wanna get high with my friends every night? Why do I just wanna keep living?
Oh yes, Dylan had this signature move where he'd slowly stroke his chin while gazing into the camera, clearly thinking he was serving James Bond-level charm. This now infamous chin-stroking action even earned him the nickname The Chin. At first, it might sound like a compliment, but let's be real, it wasn't. It became a meme, a punchline, a shorthand for his cringe-inducing antics. But what makes it all even creepier is the chilling self-obsession underlying it. Dylan didn't just act like he thought he was irresistible, he truly believed it. I mean, just look at him. He seemed convinced that his TikToks were the digital equivalent of Cupid's arrows, striking down girls left and right. The reality was, however, far from it. His overconfidence and bizarre antics didn't make him attractive. They made him unnerving. After all, it's one thing to be confident. It's another to teeter so far into the delusion that it becomes unsettling. Here are a few examples of his irresistible chin stroking. In a lot of his TikToks, he's just stroking his chin and trying to give a sexy look, thinking that he looks oh so irresistible. This was his signature cringe move that people were quick to notice. Some of the other creators also started copying this action on their TikTok videos, trying to make fun of him.
Cause you're perfect, and I know that you're positive. I can't walk away.
However, Dylan was not ashamed of it. He was very proud of his signature chin-stroking move and even openly owned it up.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway, like a lazy ocean hugs the
He even thinks that all the ladies want to see his weird chin-rub, tongue-out face willingly. Just see for yourself. One thing that we can't quite understand is how delusional you have to be in order to make such videos. After all, it's one thing to like yourself and think you're attractive, and then there's this extremely self-engrossed narcissism. But wait a minute. Hold on to your seats, because Dylan Zippy's vast reservoir of cringe is like an endless abyss, a black hole of second-hand embarrassment that just keeps pulling you in. It's so expansive, so staggeringly scattered across his TikTok journey that trying to catalog it all feels like trying to count stars in the night sky. You could spend hours, even days, diving into the ocean of his chaotic antics and still only scratch the surface of the cringe and instability he has gifted or cursed us with. One of the standout examples of his legendary delusion is Dylan's unwavering belief that he is TikTok's ultimate bad boy, a title he seems to have bestowed upon himself with all the confidence of a kid wearing a crown made of macaroni. It's truly a sight to behold. The sheer audacity, the misplaced swagger, the self-proclaimed king of cringe strutting through the platform like he owns the algorithm. Moreover, Dylan is utterly convinced that he's the irresistible heartthrob of TikTok, the modern-day Casanova that all the girls are secretly, or not so secretly, obsessed with. In his mind, he's the ultimate prize, the man of every girl's dreams, and apparently, they won't rest until they've claimed him as their own. This delusion is delivered with such unshakable confidence that you almost have to admire it. Almost. From his exaggerated winks to his painfully awkward, flirty lip syncs, Dylan seems absolutely sure that he's melting hearts left and right. The reality? Well, let's just say his interpretation of his fan bases might be a tad optimistic. He also thinks that he is completely flawless, rating himself 10 out of 10 on the attractiveness scale.
What would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'm a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
That's like flawless though.
Yeah, I am flawless.
You're flawless? Okay, so like what, like let's be real this time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so like on 1 to 10, like for real, like realistically, what would you rate yourself?
A 10.
A 10?
But wait, If you think Dylan's ego is fueled solely by his sheer attractiveness, or at least his perception of it, you'd be sorely mistaken. Oh no, Dylan Zippy isn't just a self-proclaimed TikTok stud. He's also convinced he's a multi-talented superstar in the making. In addition to his good looks and alleged riz, Dylan also thinks that he is a great singer.
Oh, I you make me feel like I'm the only girl in the world. Like I'm the only one that you like to fall. Like I'm the wrong thing. I feel something so wrong. Doing the right thing. Could lie. Everything that kills me makes me feel alive. I've been loving, losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. Now, baby, I've been loving, playing hard. So you know the counting dollars will be counting stars. Baby, I've been loving, losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. Baby, I've been loving, playing hard. I sit by myself, talking to the you.
That's right, our boy Dylan has pipes, or at least he thinks he does. Never one to shy away from a cringe-worthy performance, he frequently posted singing covers on his account, each one dripping with enough overconfidence to make Simon Cowell wince. With the swagger of someone who genuinely believes he's the next Justin Bieber, Dylan would belt out pop hits like he was auditioning for a record deal that no one offered. There are tons of other videos of Dylan doing some of the most random stuff. Just look at this video captioned, "POV, you lean in for a kiss."
You don't know what you did. You did. It's tricks to me. I don't know what you did to me. Your body like.
Or this one where he starts making out with his phone because he doesn't have a New Year's kiss. We also came across this POV video where Dylan's imaginary girlfriend thinks he is cheating on her. Well, if Dylan does manage to get into a relationship with a girl his age, the only thing he'll be cheating with will be his phone. Because let's be real, he does flirt with his phone quite a bit. It's almost like he's manifesting all these scenarios. As if he'll keep making videos about his fantasies, they'll somehow become true. But like we said, there's an overwhelming amount to unpack when it comes to Dylan's TikTok escapades. However, his cringeworthy videos are just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface lies a much darker and more unsettling side of this so-called TikTok star. Dylan has been exposed for engaging in some seriously reprehensible behavior online, using his self-proclaimed fame as leverage to manipulate and lure underage girls into his trap. This isn't just speculation. Numerous creators and YouTubers have stepped forward with undeniable proof and damning receipts to shine a light on his predatory actions. What surfaced wasn't just ugly, it was downright vile, the kind of behavior that makes you lose a little faith in humanity. It's stomach-churning to even discuss, but it's crucial to call out individuals who abuse their platforms and cross moral and legal boundaries. As you might have already guessed from his unnervingly creepy POV videos, something always felt off about Dylan. His bizarre attempts at romantic content often left viewers with a sinking feeling that there was more going on beneath the surface. For many in his audience, it was only a matter of time before he crossed a line, and sadly, that moment came sooner than anyone wanted to believe. Not long after Dylan turned 18, a series of accusations began surfacing, all pointing to a disturbing pattern of behavior involving underage girls. What started as whispers quickly escalated into an avalanche of allegations, leaving no doubt that his actions were far from harmless. It was as though the warning signs in his videos had finally manifested into something grotesque, validating the unease many had felt for so long. The first allegation to come forward was from a 14-year-old girl. We're not going to reveal the face or name of any minor here, but we'll try our best to show you all the screenshots of Dylan's conversation with these girls, while trying not to be flagged for inappropriate content. So this 14-year-old girl alleged that Dylan had been talking to her and sending some really inappropriate pictures. While most of these pictures didn't have Dylan's face in them, there were telltale signs that Dylan had indeed taken and sent the pictures. For example, his signature white beanie or his surrounding environment in LED lights. For instance, this one Snapchat picture in which he's asking this underage girl whether it will fit. The picture is captioned, "Hopefully it will fit in." You can see that he's wearing his usual white beanie that he's seen wearing in most of his TikTok videos. In addition to this, the surroundings and lights are proof enough that this is Dylan. However, we don't really need to prove that the pictures were sent by Dylan since he himself accepted it. Dylan, much like other TikTok predators, initially attempted to brush off the accusations, pretending they didn't exist. But as the evidence against him continued to pile up and the backlash became impossible to ignore, he eventually decided to address the situation in a video. Shockingly, in this so-called apology video, Dylan admitted to talking to an underage girl and sending her inappropriate pictures. However, the timing and tone of the video were nothing short of appalling. Instead of genuine remorse, it felt more like a poorly veiled attempt at damage control, posted conveniently as he celebrated hitting 40,000 followers. Yes, you heard that right. Dylan used his confession as an opportunity to gloat about a milestone, effectively turning what should have been a moment of accountability into a self-congratulatory circus. Calling it an apology would be a massive overstatement. It was more like a PR stunt dripping with insincerity.
You guys again for 40K followers. It means a lot to me, but this is not why I'm here. I need to talk to you guys for a bit. This is my apology video. So for anyone out there, I just want to say I'm sorry. And I did not mean to be creepy in any way. I just wanted to be a nice person and to sing for her. And I did not know that she was 14. She didn't tell me her age. So it was wrong of me to do that. So I just want to say I'm sorry. And hopefully you guys can appreciate it and accept my apology. And yeah, and hopefully you guys accept it. So if you guys do, thank you. And I just don't want to get hate anymore. So.
He started his so-called apology video by thanking his followers and announcing that he has finally hit his 40,000 followers mark. We mean, the audacity of this guy is just unmatchable. He doesn't even have the tiniest bit of remorse for what he did, even if it was a mistake as he claims it was. He said in this video that he wasn't trying to be creepy and only wanted to be a nice guy and sing to her. Well, we don't know who taught Dylan here how to be a nice guy, but sending a picture of your private parts sure isn't nice, especially if it's an underage individual. Dylan didn't stop there. In an attempt to sweep the whole situation under the rug, he offered a laughably inadequate explanation, as if expecting it to magically absolve him of all guilt and shield him from further backlash. His justification was that he didn't know she was 14 years old. Now, here on this channel, we've covered plenty of predators, and sadly, we've seen this excuse trotted out far too many times. It's become the go-to defense for people caught in situations like this. But no matter how often it's used, it never gets any less ridiculous. What we can't wrap our heads around is how a grown man can engage in conversations with any random girl online without making the most basic effort to confirm her age. As an adult, this isn't just common sense. It's a fundamental responsibility. You have to take that extra step to ensure you're not talking to someone you absolutely shouldn't be talking to. Ignoring that responsibility doesn't make you innocent. It makes you negligent at best and predatory at worst. Moreover, his half-hearted apology did nothing but air the fire around this situation. People used to know Dylan for his cringe and absurd POV videos, but now people started recognizing him as that one TikTok creator who sent inappropriate pictures to a 14-year-old. While it should have made him a lot more careful, it actually had the opposite effect on Dylan, as after this incident, a lot more screenshots started making rounds on the internet in which Dylan was talking inappropriately with minors despite knowing their age. One of these girls was a 13-year-old who again exposed Dylan for sending her inappropriate pictures. Some of these accusations also came with screenshots of his Snapchat conversation. Or you can very clearly see from this Snapchat conversation that whoever he's trying to bag up with his riz is very clearly a minor. Now, Dylan was well over 18 at this point. He was a whopping 20-year-old when he was trying to do all this. However, this time he wasn't about to get away with it. This is because his so-called apology video actually alerted a lot of people. Those who did not know about his predatory behavior also found out about it, and they weren't ready to let this one slide. They even started comparing Dylan to a male version of Colleen Ballinger. For those of you who aren't aware, Colleen Ballinger is a 36-or-so-year-old American YouTuber comedian who got exposed for having inappropriate conversations with minors and discussing topics like virginity and sexual positions. To the public, Dylan was clearly following the same sick pattern seen in many of these so-called influencers, using his fleeting fame to manipulate and target underage girls. However, his strategy wasn't exactly panning out, as he was being exposed left and right for his behavior. The turning point came after a second accusation surfaced. By that time, no one was buying his excuses anymore. The first time around, he'd claimed ignorance, saying he didn't know the girl's age. But when the second girl came forward, armed with damning screenshots of her conversations with Dylan, his carefully crafted facade crumbled beyond repair. The evidence was irrefutable, and any remaining shred of credibility he had was obliterated. It became abundantly clear that this wasn't just a one-off mistake or misunderstanding. This was a pattern of deliberate, predatory behavior. People saw through his lies, and the backlash was swift and brutal, as it should be. There was a pattern in his actions. He was deliberately targeting underage girls and using his influence to manipulate these kids. This is when people started realizing that this guy was way more dangerous than anybody thought. And if you think this is bad, wait till you have a look at some of the other things he has done. When people started noticing a pattern in Dylan's behavior, they decided to catch him in the act and make troll accounts posing as minors. And what happened was far worse than you can imagine. A creator on YouTube called Briz actually made a video on this topic, covering in detail all the incidents where Dylan was exposed for being a creepy predator. This time, Dylan fell for a 14-year-old decoy who sent him a compliment, and he responded with a thank you. Now, if Dylan had just left it at the thank you, things might have been fine. Nice, simple, and sweet. But of course, Dylan, being Dylan, he couldn't help himself. Instead of stopping there, he decided to dig his grave even deeper. He followed up this seemingly innocent response with another message, boldly declaring that he is single. Yes, because what better way to escalate an already bad situation than to make an awkward, unsolicited play for attention? This unnecessary addition not only made him look desperate, but also reinforced the public perception of him as someone who just didn't understand how to read the room, or in this case, the internet. So Dylan here just throws it out in the open that he is single and he's available, all because a girl complimented him. We mean, why would anybody not want Dylan? He thinks of himself as the biggest stud on the internet, the guy who no girl can possibly resist. Proceeding with the conversation, he also asks the girl for her snap. Now, this whole thing is very suspicious and creepy. For starters, why would you ever tell an underage girl that you're single even though she never asked? Then Dylan proceeds to ask her for her Snapchat in a true creepy fashion. As we go further into this video, you'll realize that this appears to be Dylan's classic tactic to get girls to talk to him. Most of his victims are girls from TikTok or Instagram who he would get into contact with and then ask for their Snapchat account so that he can move the conversation over to Snapchat. At this point, it's undeniable that this was no isolated incident for Dylan. This was part of a troubling pattern of behavior. He had grown accustomed to sliding into the DMs of young girls and sending explicit pictures. This is not only disturbing, it's deeply alarming. Imagine the fear that comes with knowing there are predators like Dylan Zippy lurking in the dark corners of the internet, trying to take advantage of vulnerable young people. For parents, older siblings, or anyone who cares about the safety of younger family members, this reality is truly terrifying. It's a reminder of just how critical it is for us to stay vigilant and educated about the dangers online. While you may think all of this evidence is bad enough on its own, you'll be surprised to know that there is more to Dylan Zippy's disgusting and predatory behavior. There is actually no end to his actions. In another Snapchat conversation posted online, we could actually see Dylan inquiring about the girl's age, and she replied, "Yeah, I'm 14. Why do you care?" This is another proof that Dylan knows what he's doing. He's aware that he's talking to girls who are no more than 14 to 15 years old. And the alarming part is that despite having knowledge of their age, Dylan keeps on talking to these girls who are way younger than him. In another series of texts and screenshots, some seriously disturbing pictures were revealed where Dylan was sending extremely inappropriate and suggestive pictures to a minor. For instance, pictures of his trousers and private parts captioned, "Yeah, I have a spot next to me for you." The fact that he knew he was talking to a minor when saying all of these things makes it disgusting to a whole new level. And trust us when we say that things are about to get way worse from here, because this guy has crossed all limits. Here are screenshots of his conversation with a minor asking for her butt pictures. When Dylan asked for her butt pictures, she replied saying, "My butt isn't even that big. And also, I am in my underwear now because it's hot in my room, LOLs." Dylan, like the true creep king that he is, immediately pounces on this opportunity to ask the girl if she can send him a picture. The fact that he's asking a 14-year-old if she wants to send him a picture of her butt is just disturbing. He's asking for consent from a person who's not even allowed to give consent. She is an underage girl, and Dylan is an adult who shouldn't even be engaging in a conversation like this with anyone who's under 18. Moving on in the creepy world of Dylan's Snapchat, there's another horrifying screenshot where he's asking a 14-year-old to make him come. At this point, things were really getting out of hand. There were all these proofs and screenshots, and yet there was no end to Dylan or his creepy behavior. In fact, things only escalated from here on. Here is another screenshot of Dylan's conversation with a minor, asking her to hang out with him. And when she asks what he wants to do, he says, "Cuddle." We mean, this isn't only concerning behavior, it's downright criminal. Another piece of information that we discovered on Dylan Zippy was a video by this TikTok creator called Your Favorite Guy. He actually made a handful of videos on Dylan since he knew Dylan from his early TikTok era. Apparently, they've been in a group chat together along with other TikTok creators. Your Favorite Guy made a video about Dylan after the second accusation and revealed some details about his behavior on this group chat that they were a part of.
This is Dylan Zippy asking a young girl to come over to his place. This is Dylan Zippy asking a young girl if it would fit. Despite being caught multiple times over the past 3 years, Dylan Zippy continues with this behavior, which was going on way before he was 18. When he was 17, he was trying to 13 and 14-year-olds.
Dylan Zippy is 20 years old, and I knew him before he was 18. The reason I knew him was because there was a Snapchat group chat of a bunch of TikTokers, and we were both in it. And this was before all of this stuff came out about him. While we were both in this group chat, it came out that while he was 17, he was multiple 14-year-olds, multiple 13-year-olds. I told him to cut it out. Did he? Not at all. Us creators ended up contacting his parents about his behavior. They made him deactivate the account, but since then he's moved out. Unsurprisingly, 2 years later, he has once again been caught trying to and meet up with 14-year-olds. He entirely ignores the recent time he was caught trying to sex a 14-year-old, and he knew the ages. Hell, I even catfished him at the time, telling him I was 14.
If we go by what this guy is saying, it looks like Dylan has been doing this from a very young age. He has always had a thing with talking to underage girls, and he was now doing it more openly since he had more followers and thought of himself as someone famous. Then, just as everyone thought there was no end to Dylan's disgusting behavior, something unexpected happened. he completely vanished. This is often what happens with people like Dylan. They're reckless, selfish, and ignorant of the consequences of their actions. Dylan made a name for himself with cringe point-of-view videos, and he used the attention and fame from these videos to connect with countless underage girls. While some of his incidents were exposed, countless others remain hidden, still festering in the darkness. But when the backlash finally caught up with him, and people started holding him accountable for his actions, instead of owning up to his behavior, he ran away like a coward. He deleted all his content, wiping his cringe-inducing TikTok account, and vanished from the public eye. At first, it might seem like a relief, like maybe we've seen the last of this guy. But unfortunately, that's not the complete story. While it might feel satisfying to think he's gone for good, the truth is, these predators rarely just disappear. They often find new ways to lurk in the shadows, ready to strike again when the attention fades, and that's the real danger. Although he has deleted his TikTok account and no longer posts point-of-view videos, he's still pretty active on social media, including YouTube and Instagram. Your favorite guy actually made an update video about Dylan after he deleted all of his accounts.
I might as well give you guys an update on Dylan Zippy since you guys eat it up every single time. Dylan Zippy got fired from the Sky Zone he worked at, which is a trampoline park where he works with a bunch of little kids who come there to jump on trampolines. This guy Jake hit me up and was telling me about how he knew what trampoline park Dylan Zippy worked at, and I think he worked at multiple. And the reason he knew this is because his friend was working with Dylan Zippy, and last week he hit me up and it was like he got fired from his work, and I said, "How do you know?" And he said, "My friend worked with him and told me he got fired for texting underage girls." So yeah, I think this is a good thing that Dylan Zippy's fired from his job, because he should not be working with anyone close to the age of 18. And of course, anybody under 18. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now. There was a couple other people who I'm waiting on to respond to my Instagram DMs, because they reached out to me and were like, "Yo, Dylan Zippy got caught again," stuff like that. But nothing has been proved so far. But I will keep you guys updated. Thanks for listening, and follow for more.
So according to him, there has been no investigation on him, but he's been fired from his job for allegedly texting underage girls yet again. Now, you might be wondering, if Dylan Zippy is still active on social media, where is he now and what is he up to? Well, he rarely posts anything showing his face these days. It seems like he's doing everything he can to erase the evidence of his past actions. He still maintains a presence on platforms like Instagram and YouTube, although the content has shifted. These days, he mostly focuses on photography and music-related posts. He had lately been into EDM music and has even moved towards making his own music.
Hello guys, your boy Dylan here, and this is Chasing My Dreams. It's always been a passion of mine, filming with friends, going on long adventures. It's really fun. Creating one passion that I love doing is making a video. So thank you guys so much for the support and love all my videos.
But here's the thing. Despite the change in his content, it's clear that the same creepy behavior is still lurking beneath the surface. He's just doing a better job of packing it in a way that doesn't raise as many red flags. The facade may have changed, but the underlying issues remain. He's trying to reinvent himself, but you can't outrun your past or the people who are still watching. It's a reminder that while some might try to sweep their actions under the rug, it's important to stay vigilant and aware. These predators often find new ways to present themselves, but the goal is always the same: to gain trust, manipulate, and exploit. Just because someone changes their platform doesn't mean they've changed their ways. In conclusion, while Dylan Zippy may have disappeared from the TikTok scene and stopped posting his cringe POV videos, the question remains, is he truly done? Has he really learned from his mistakes? Or, despite his absence from the platform, could he still be contacting minors? The fact that no real actions have been taken against him raises a troubling question. How many other young people could be at risk while Dylan continues to live his life as if nothing ever happened? The reality is that his online disappearance doesn't erase the damage he caused, nor does it guarantee he won't try to exploit others in the future. We need to keep asking these questions and stay vigilant, ensuring that people like Dylan are held accountable and that the platforms we use are safe spaces for everyone, especially minors. If you've stayed this far into the video, do let us know in the comments down below how you liked it. We tried our best to cover every aspect of Dylan Zippy's creepy TikTok story. However, if we left anything uncovered, feel free to comment down below.